Pokemon Emerald Rogue is a Pokemon ROM hack that, well, as the name implies, is a Pokemon roguelike. And I tried it out for the first time recently. So, here's my first playthrough. Okay, so our starters are Tangela, that sounds horrible. Psyduck. And a Pseudo. I think we're going with the Pseudo. We in fact did go with Larvitar, which the one guy active in chat decided we would name KFC Bucket. After that, I headed up the stairs in a very champion-esque room to enter the very first gym of Pokemon Emerald Rogue. So, I think now would be a good time to explain how the game works. At the start of each gym area, you have to proceed through either a few routes, trainers, or other hubs. There's usually about 3. You usually have to at least go through one route where you can catch new Pokemon and fight trainers to level up, or you could instead get people, which are events like Pokemon Centers, marts where you can buy TMs or Pokeballs, or even gamble everything you own in a casino. Anyway, I catch my next Pokemon Meditite, which I decided to nickname Kirby. And now would be a good time to mention, Nuzlocke rules are in play. In fact, I don't have a say about it. If Pokemon faints in battle, it is literally removed from my party, and there is not a PC system in this game. And the last thing I will mention is experience is set in a very static way. You can get a certain amount of levels, you have experience share, and there is a level cap that is always applied. Your Pokemon cannot go above it. And if you are right before a gym leader and do not have the level cap, you can fight a trainer to guarantee you are at max level, which is really good. It basically prevents any grinding or any instance where you would need to do grinding or waiting out. All of that is done for you, which is great. Anyway, move on to the next route. Generally, nothing super of note happens other than we catch a Shuppet and a Charmander. We then go to the Pokemart to pick up some Pokeballs, but I then realize they are selling a Psychic TM, which would be great for our Meditite. I then forget to put it on our Meditite before the first gym. The first gym we got was Brawly, which was one of the worst gym leaders we could have got for this. Our team is not well equipped to handle fighting types, with our best Pokemon being quad weak to fighting type. In fact, I immediately attempt to switch into Shuppet as I figure a ghost type's our best bet. However, I'm hit by a Pursuit. Not long after Shuppet dies, and I have to attempt the solo fight with just Kirby. However, Kirby, as I quickly learn, does not have Psychic! Because I am an idiot! I managed to win the fight, despite some close calls, and we only lost Shuppet, moving on to the second route and preparing for the second gym. Not long after that, we grab a Scyther, as it's pretty good in the early game, and even managed to have our Charmander learn Dragon Rage, an even better early game tool. With our now evolved Charmeleon, we are able to snag a Lapras, adding an additional Pokemon to our team before the next gym. And I'm gonna be honest, Lapras' plan was Paris Song. That was the whole reason I brought it. Heading to the next gym, we face off against Juan, a gym leader I honestly forgot existed and could not tell who it was by the sprite. And can I just comment, we got like 2 of the worst possible gym leaders we could have gotten when we got them. Because our team does not have a good counter to either of those types, especially water, with my 2 best Pokemon being a rock type and a fire type. Anyway, we switch into Crescent, who, after hitting an enemy a few times, manages to take it down, leading into our next Pokemon. Crescent soon dies to the opponent's Octillery, where we send out Kirby, who is able to kill out the Octillery. However, he then sends out an Azumarill, which immediately goes for Belly Drum. And in case you're not aware of how Azumarill works, or how Belly Drum works, we're talking about a Pokemon with huge power that now has full attack. It has 6 additional things in attack. Effectively, it procced Swords Dance 3 times in 1 turn and has huge power. So that's a concern. Thankfully, huge power lowers HP, but that basically means unless I can outspeed and kill the Azumarill in 1 hit, it has a good chance of sweeping my entire team. Sadly, that doesn't happen. However, we are able to dwindle it down to 1 HP. I send out Charmeleon thinking it should be faster, and use a Dragon-type move because I'm an idiot. Thankfully, it misses Play Rough, and we're able to take it down before quickly taking down Tentacruel to 2 Dragon Rages. Thankfully, we were able to win that fight with only 1 or 2 losses. After that, I completely forget to catch new Pokemon and decide to gamble. I immediately get a win and decide to leave before I lose anything else. I then teach my Pokemon some new moves using move tutors and head on to the next gym. Also, before we continue, please consider liking and subscribing since it helps out the channel an absolute ton. Anyway, on to the fight against Flannery, who was very interesting in she sent out easily her best Pokemon first. This Magmar is a frigging menace. Genuinely, it is insane. It kept confusing all of my Pokemon, preventing them from attacking it. And while he couldn't hit my Larvitar super effectively, now a Pupitar, it was still a threat. Setting up Stealth Rocks was one of the only things I was able to do before having to switch out Pokemon due to confusion. I then went for a Perish Song play with Perry or Lapras, since while the AI would probably switch their Pokemon out instead of letting it die to Perish Song, that would at least get something on the field we could handle. We then counter with our own confusion, and proceed to use healing items while we wait for them to slowly chip away at us, because they're going to switch out soon. We then switch back into KFC Bucket, our Pupitar, set up a substitute, and then prepare to attempt a Rock Slide sweep against the remaining Pokemon. The Ponyta dies incredibly easily thanks to a crit, with the same happening to Flannery's Vulpix. But not before the Vulpix was able to take out our substitute. Flannery then sends back out her incredibly annoying and hard to deal with Magmar. We continually trade blows, with KFC Bucket being able to survive longer due to its tankier defenses and it hitting super effectively while the Magmar hits not very effectively. After a handful of Rock Slides, we're able to take the Magmar down before Flannery sends out her final Pokemon. And it's a Growlithe. I'm just gonna be honest, aside from our Magmar, all of our Pokemon died in like 1 or 2 hits from Rock Slide, and were barely able to harm us. Basically, we fought a gym leader with 1 Pokemon. And with that, Flannery went down with relative ease. We then had our Charmeleon evolve into a Charizard, adding our first fully evolved Pokemon to the team. I then caught a second Meditite, named it Kibi, and learned that hidden power in this game actually displays what type it attacks as instead of normal. Thank you! Then, getting greedy, I went to fight a little girl who was guarding a Pokeball. And I'm sure you've noticed, but I don't normally list generic trainer fights. So I'm sure you can tell this didn't go well. Her Aerodactyl nearly actually straight up one-shot Meatball, leaving us for dead. Then did the same to a Celio I picked up, which I didn't mention because I didn't have plans for Celio, nor was it important. Perry and KFC Bucket, our Larvitar and Lapras, were both low on HP, which basically just left us with Kiwi, who had to outspeed and kill the Aerodactyl. We weren't able to outspeed, but we lived, went for a high jump kick that was able to kill the Aerodactyl. I was grateful, thinking we won the fight. I forgot she had a second Pokemon. I was expecting a loss since our Pokemon were all weak, and we barely had anything left when it comes to the gym to prepare. However, her next Pokemon was an Anorith, which was promptly OHKO'd by another high jump kick, winning us the battle. All for one item. And what was that item, you may ask? 3 Lax Mints. We lost 2 of the best Pokemon on our team. Arguably one of the best, and one that could have been very useful in an upcoming gym. 4 Lax Mints. After all that, we went up against Winona, the flying type and the 4th gym leader. As if to rub salt into the wound, she leads with Charizard, OHKOing Pupitar. So we're off to a great start. Our really only good Pokemon just died. Before we can even get a hit in, Charizard manages to kill our good old Perry the Lapras, leaving us with only one Pokemon, the now evolved Meditite, Kibi. We attempt to pull the fight back. After all videos like this end in a win. He switches out due to the Parrot song, leaving us with Kibi, who attempts to fight the newly introduced Togekiss. Missing a high jump kick, we're at low HP, and I basically just attempt a suicide bomb at this point. The Togetic goes for Wish, where we then go for Recover. Anything to attempt to keep our last Pokemon alive. We keep trading blows back and forth, but the Togetic keeps healing itself, preventing us from killing it, and we can't deal enough damage. The fight is almost destined to lose, and then we do. The run is over. Our last Pokemon fainted, and we're back to the start. We were able to take out 4 gym leaders, each one tougher than the last. But we lost. And I don't intend to give up just yet. I've been debating how to end this video for the past week, because I didn't want to end the video like this, but I also haven't been able to get a successful run in. The fact of the matter is, I've struggled. I don't want to end a video like this on such a bummer, but I also don't want to delay it to the point where it will be out 1 or 2 months from now when I finally get that perfect run that lets me beat the champion. And I'm going to keep playing the game, and we're going to make a video about future runs. But this one ends on the note that we will keep trying and we will win. Just not today. See you guys in the next one.